Good morning. I waked up thinking about you. You look great. So wonderful that we start our mornings before the conversation, the spoken conversation. Just sitting together with nothing happening. Just a willingness to be together, to be conscious, to be awake, to be sitting, maybe even to be thinking, but nothing is really happening. It's what we have when we fall into deep sleep. And of course we go mad without deep sleep. We are nourished by it, we love it, and we know when we don't get it because we are aware, even in deep sleep. We don't have objects to be aware of, but we are awareness with nothing happening. A couple of people mentioned practice, meditation practice, and other practices. What's the problem, Tom? And just like this, sitting practices where nothing is happening are deeply nourishing. I recommend them. Nourishing for the body, for the mind, for the emotions, for the planet. The issue is, the catch is, when we begin speaking, or when objects appear in our dream world, waking or sleeping dream world, when we get off our cushion and go into our roles, the separation that we make between nothing happening and something happening is a false separation. And it leads to further fragmentation. We may hate having to meditate. We may love having to meditate. We may hate for something to be happening. And this is all an involvement in suffering. So beautiful, you sit, you're still, you recognize, just can stop for one moment. I don't have to be reaching for something, acquiring something, fighting something off, getting something to happen, getting something to not happen. Just can rest and open. And in that, you can actually inquire, what is here when I rest, when I open? When I'm not doing something, when I'm actually stopping. And then when movement starts again, the body gets up out of its meditative posture, or the traffic happens, or whatever it may be, that's when you must inquire, what is still here? What hasn't moved in the midst of all this movement? What is at peace in the midst of conflict? What is free in the midst of arising desires? You discover that, you discover yourself. And then you aren't trying to make nothing happening or do non-duality. You're free. You're free to play any role that you are drawn to or that you're forced into. You're free to play it fully. You're free to rest. You're free to stop. And you're free to torture yourself. Obviously, how else could you get away with it? There would surely be a law someplace. So it's really what you choose. Not that you can even choose freedom, but you can choose to open to freedom. You can't choose grace, but you can open to grace. You can tell the truth about how grace has appeared in your life. I mean, most people's thoughts are really about, how am I going to do that? What's my purpose? What do I need to do? What's next? Oh, what should I have done? Very useful thoughts for survival. But when they become obsessive, when they take over our lives, we miss this vastness of What is here? What am I seeing? What am I discovering? We take a moment to get out of the race and open. And it's a beautiful moment. So that's what this moment in your life is about, this weekend moment. I don't have any idea or even want to have any idea what you should be doing. I know who you are. You discover who you are. What you should be doing is apparent. It's clear. It's what you're made for. And we're all made a little differently, and we're all made for many, many things. Some of us are made to be hermits in isolation. Some of us are made to be social, to be activists, to be doctors or teachers or layabouts, even layabouts. Yes, some of us are made for that. Ramana was the ultimate layabout. We're so afraid of that because we live in this culture where that is really forbidden. It means you're lazy, it means you're no good, it means you're not producing. I remember reading once Nisargadatta said, nobody is as lazy as the guru. So, be lazier. Really discover what it means to be absolutely with nothing happening. You know, that brings up a lot in our society because just in our human animalness, it means we might not survive. If we're really lazy, we might not provide for our bodies or our children or our neighbors. Plus, people might not think well of us. Plus, we might aggravate even more how ill we think of ourselves. God knows what could happen. Society could collapse. The world could stop. So you have permission. At least, this is Sunday. This is the day of rest. Don't create your world today. Take a break. Really rest. Why not? Everything can be realized in that rest. If you're preoccupied with doing and finding and catching and keeping away, you overlook what you can realize. So I'm inviting you to drink deeply while awake of nothing happening, regardless of what else is happening. To be willing and vigilant to ask the essential questions. Who am I? Who am I? Am I my job? Am I my successes, my failures, my past, my relationships, my imagination? Well, we think we are, but when you really question, who am I? What is always here? You can always check, and I is always here. And I is exactly the same as am. They're just different words. Sat and Chit. And you recognize that, and Ananda is present. Joy. Joy of being. Joy of being conscious of being. What an opportunity. What a blessed life. These human brains, this privilege of gathering, this time to have a whole Sunday. I don't know what you've got scheduled, but take it off your schedule. A whole Sunday. Nothing happening. And then see. So I waked up thinking about you, Renee. It's Renee, right? I wasn't too hard on you then. Good.